this video is about. The single dad found a locked box, and his daughter opened a whole new world. If this story touches your heart, please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet as Jacob Mercer leaned against the doorframe of his small house. A soft breeze carried the scent of blooming jasmine from the garden, where his daughter, Lily, was busy pulling weeds. She was 6, with a vivacity that both dazzled and exhausted him. Her little hands, dirt-stained and sticky, were a testament to her determination to help her dad with their modest yard. "Daddy, look," she chirped, her face lighting up as she held up a particularly large dandelion. She beamed, her blue eyes sparkling like the summer sky. "I made a flower bouquet." Jacob chuckled, his heart swelling with affection. "That's beautiful, sweetheart, just like you." He stepped forward, tousling her hair, and she squealed in delight. This was their routine. Every evening after work, they'd tackle the yard together, turning mundane chores into adventures. As he leaned down to inspect her handiwork, something shifted at the edge of the garden path. A glint of metal caught his eye, half buried beneath a tangle of weeds. Curiosity piqued. He stood up and walked over to the spot. With a minimal tug, he unearthed a small, rusted box, its surface marred with age, the latch covered in a veil of dust. "Daddy, what is it?" Lily asked, her head cocked to the side, eyes wide with wonder. "I'm not sure. Let's clean it up and see," Jacob replied, the thrill of discovery igniting a spark in his chest. He brushed off the dirt, revealing intricate swirls etched into the metal. "It looks like it's been here for a long time." "Can I help?" Lily inquired, bouncing on her toes. "Of course." Jacob handed her a damp cloth, and together they wiped the box until it gleamed faintly in the evening light. The latch refused to budge, and Jacob frowned, twisting it back and forth. "It's locked. I wonder what's inside." "Maybe treasure," Lily exclaimed, her imagination racing. "Or magic." The thought lingered in Jacob's mind, a whimsical distraction from the weight of daily life. In the years following his wife's departure, he often wondered if he was doing enough for his daughter. Every day felt like a careful balancing act, juggling work, parenting, and the shadows of loneliness that lurked in the corners of his heart. But here, in this moment, with Lily's laughter echoing like music, he felt lighter. "All right, little treasure hunter," he said, grinning. "Let's see if we can crack this mystery. We'll start with some tools from the garage." With Lily trailing closely behind, they made their way to the garage, a realm of tools, bicycles, and remnants of Jacob's pre-fatherhood interests. He rummaged through the clutter until he found a small crowbar and a handful of screwdrivers. "Okay, let's see what we're working with here," he said, setting the box on an old workbench. He squinted at the rusted lock, contemplating his next move. "This may take some finesse. You stand back just in case." Lily nodded, her eyes wide with anticipation. "I'm ready for magic." With careful precision, Jacob tried the crowbar first, gently applying pressure to the latch. The metal creaked ominously, but refused to yield. He transitioned to a screwdriver, prying at the edges, frustration creeping in as the box continued to resist his efforts. "Maybe it's a puzzle," Lily suggested, her voice soft and contemplative. "Like in the movies, it has to be something special." Jacob caught her gaze, the optimism in her eyes infectious. "You might be right. Maybe we need to think like detectives. What do you think could be inside?" Lily put her finger to her chin, deep in thought. "What if it's a map to a secret place, or a book about fairies?" Her imagination spiraled, painting wild scenarios that made Jacob smile, the tension of the day fading. After a few more futile attempts, Jacob paused, wiping the sweat from his brow. "All right, how about we leave this for now? It's getting late, and I don't want to keep you from your bedtime stories." "Oh, but I want to know what's inside." She pouted, crossing her arms defiantly. Jacob chuckled, the sound warm and reassuring. "We will figure it out, I promise. How about we read a story together and then we can plan our next steps? Maybe tomorrow we'll ask Mr. Thompson from next door. He knows a lot about old things like this." Lily, still sulking, eventually nodded, her enthusiasm waning into acceptance. "Okay, but I'm going to dream about treasure." As they settled down with a stack of picture books, Jacob couldn't shake the feeling that the box was more than just a forgotten relic. It felt like a sign, a reminder that beyond the routine of their lives, adventure still awaited them, hidden beneath layers of mundane days. He watched as Lily pointed at the pages, her laughter spilling into the air like music, and he felt a flicker of hope. The evening passed in a blur of stories and giggles, with Lily's laughter lighting up the corners of their home. But as Jacob tucked her into bed, the mystery of the box lingered in his mind like a siren's call. "Daddy," Lily's voice broke the silence, her small hand reaching out to grab his. "Do you think we'll find magic in that box?" He met her gaze, the innocence in her eyes stirring something deep within him. "I think it's possible. Magic can be found in many forms, you know. Sometimes it's in the adventures we take, or even in the memories we create together." Lily's eyes sparkled. "Like us?" She yawned, her eyelids growing heavy. "Exactly like us," he whispered, pressing a gentle kiss on her forehead. As he turned off the lamp, leaving a sliver of moonlight to illuminate her room, Jacob reflected on their life together. It wasn't always easy, but in their shared laughter and love, he felt a sense of magic he had long thought lost. That night sleep eluded Jacob. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thoughts swirling around the box like autumn leaves caught in the wind. What could it hold? And what if its contents could change their lives? As he finally drifted off, a quiet resolve formed within him. He would uncover the mystery of the locked box not only for himself but for Lily. They would embark on a journey together, a father and daughter, the possibility of magic hanging in the air like stardust waiting to be discovered. Little did they know, the box held secrets that would open doors to a world they never knew existed. A world that was waiting just beyond the ordinary. A world that could transform their lives forever. The following day dawned bright and clear, the sun spilling its golden rays across the landscape and illuminating the world outside Jacob's window. He rolled over and blinked at the early morning light, feeling the remnants of last night's dream slip away like the fleeting shadows of night. He had dreamed of the box, its mysteries swirling around him like mist, whispering secrets that danced just out of reach. "Daddy, wake up!" Lily's voice burst through the door, her excitement palpable even from a distance. "It's time to find the treasure." Jacob chuckled, pushing himself up from the warmth of the covers. All right, I'm coming." He couldn't help but smile at her enthusiasm. For Lily, the prospect of treasure was more than just a whimsical dream. It was a tangible adventure, waiting to unfold. After breakfast, which consisted of toast smeared with globs of peanut butter and slices of banana, Jacob and Lily donned their gardening gloves and set out for the garage. They were a team, both eager to uncover the secrets of the locked box that had ignited a spark of adventure in their otherwise routine lives. "Do you think Mr. Thompson is awake yet?" Lily asked, her voice bubbling with curiosity as they rummaged through a pile of old tools. "He's really old, so he might sleep in." Jacob laughed, recalling the neighbor's penchant for early morning gardening which seemed to defy the laws of aging. "Let's take a peek. If he is awake, maybe he can help us with the box." Hand in hand, they walked across the narrow stretch of grass between their houses, the scent of fresh soil mingling with the morning air. Jacob knocked lightly on the door, the sound echoing softly against the wooden frame. "Coming?" came Mr. Thompson's voice, slightly raspy but warm. The door creaked open to reveal a man in his late 70s, hair as white as the clouds above, and a smile that crinkled his weathered face. "Well, if it isn't the dynamic duo, what brings you two over here so early?" "Good morning, Mr. Thompson," Lily greeted, her eyes shining brightly. "We found a locked box in our garden and we want to open it. Can you help us?" Jacob watched as Mr. Thompson's eyes widened in surprise, nostalgia flickering across his face. "A locked box, you say? That sounds like quite the treasure hunt. Come on in, let me grab my tools." As they stepped into the neighbor's cluttered workshop, Jacob couldn't help but admire the organized chaos around him. Toolboxes overflowed with possibilities, while walls adorned with photographs told stories of a life well lived. Mr. Thompson returned with a small set of picks, delicate and worn, yet exuding a sense of history. With a twinkle in his eye, he laid the tools on the table. "All right, let's take a look at this box of yours. I've opened my share of locks in my time. Who knows, we might find something extraordinary." Jacob placed the box on the table, its rusted exterior gleaming in the afternoon light that streamed through the workshop's window. Lily perched on a stool, her little legs swinging back and forth as she watched the process unfold, her excitement palpable. Mr. Thompson examined the lock, his brow furrowing slightly in concentration. "Looks like a simple mechanism. Let's see if we can coax it open gently." He took a moment to explain the process to Lily, who listened with rapt attention, her eyes wide. "Why do they make locks if they can be opened?" she asked innocently, tilting her head to the side. "Ah, little one, locks can serve many purposes," Mr. Thompson replied, his voice warm and rich with experience. "Sometimes they protect special things. Other times they just keep nosy neighbors like me out." He winked at Jacob, who chuckled, appreciating the light-hearted banter. As Mr. Thompson worked, the silence in the workshop was filled with the soft clicking of tools and the gentle hum of anticipation. Jacob felt a wave of nostalgia wash over him, memories of time spent in his grandfather's workshop flooding back. It was a reminder of the simple joys of discovery, of the bond that formed not only through shared adventures, but also through the wisdom passed down from one generation to the next. After several tense moments, a soft click broke the silence. Mr. Thompson grinned, lifting the lid of the box with a slow, dramatic flourish. And voila, what do we have here? Inside lay a collection of small trinkets, old coins, a silver locket, and a weathered journal, its pages yellowed with age. Jacob leaned in closer, curiosity piqued as he examined each item. "What are those?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper, as if afraid to disturb the magic of the moment. "Let's explore together," Jacob suggested, lifting out the locket first. He opened it carefully, revealing a faded photograph of a woman with a gentle smile and deep-set eyes. "Looks like it belonged to someone special, a memory captured in time." Lily's eyes flickered with wonder. "Can we keep it?" "We should find out who it belongs to first," Jacob responded, a hint of caution in his tone. "But let's look through the journal. There might be clues inside." He opened the journal, sticky with age, and began to flip through the pages. The handwriting was elegant, filled with loops and flourishes but faded with time, making it difficult to decipher. He read aloud, his voice soft as he shared snippets of thoughts and dreams from a life long past. "Today, I buried the box in the garden. I wanted it to be a time capsule for my future." Jacob paused, glancing at Lily, whose eyes were glued to the page. "It seems like this person wanted to share their life with someone someday." "How cool is that?" Lily's face lit up. "So it is treasure, it's like a letter from the past." "Exactly," Mr. Thompson interjected, his voice filled with gravitas. "Everything in this box tells a story, and it's up to us to continue that story or honor it in some way. As Jacob continued to read, a complex tapestry of emotions unfurled within him. There were entries about love and loss, dreams that were both fulfilled and unfulfilled, and moments of joy that were tinged with sadness. The writer's vulnerability resonated with Jacob, striking a chord deep within him. Do you think she knew what would happen to her treasures? Lily pondered, her brow furrowing in thought. I think she hoped someone would find them, Jacob replied, closing the journal gently, and maybe learn from her experiences. Mr. Thompson nodded thoughtfully. Every object carries a piece of its owner's heart. It's our duty to honor that as we continue our own journeys. Lily looked up at Jacob, her expression earnest. Can we write our own stories, Daddy, like the lady did? A soft smile crept onto Jacob's face, the warmth of her question wrapping around him like a comforting blanket. Of course we can, sweetheart. We can start today if you'd like. Let's do it, she exclaimed, bouncing on her stool. We can write about our treasure adventure. As they gathered the items and made their way back home, Jacob felt an unfamiliar sense of purpose creeping into his heart. The discovery of the locked box had opened not just a physical space, but an emotional one too. A reminder that their lives were worth documenting, that their experiences, no matter how mundane, were valuable. That evening, as dusk settled over the horizon, Jacob and Lily sat at the kitchen table, the remnants of dinner cleared away. They each had a blank notebook, and Jacob watched as Lily's tiny fingers scrawled her thoughts. Her words filled the pages with colorful drawings and whimsical tales, her imagination spilling forth like a vivid river. Daddy, what should I write about? She asked, looking up at him, her eyes shining with excitement. Write about your dandelion bouquet, he suggested, leaning over to look at her page. Or about our adventure in Mr. Thompson's workshop. Remember how you talked about magic? Lily's face lit up, her fingers flying across the page. And about the lady who buried the box. I want to find her. Jacob felt a swell of pride as he observed her creativity. Maybe we can find out who she was, he said gently. We can ask Mr. Thompson if he knows anything more about her. As they wrote, the world outside faded away, and laughter filled their home, a melody of connection that wove through the fabric of their lives. In that shared moment of storytelling, Jacob felt the weight of loneliness lift, replaced by the joy of discovery, not just of a forgotten box, but of the bond that had grown stronger between him and his daughter. That night, after tucking Lily into bed, Jacob returned to the journal, flipping through the pages again, letting the words wash over him. He realized that the box had not only opened a door to the past, but had also illuminated the path ahead. They were embarking on a journey of their own, one filled with imagination, exploration, and a deeper understanding of the world around them. As he turned off the light and let the moonlight spill into the room, Jacob knew that the magic they had discovered together was just the beginning. With Lily by his side, as the sun rose the next morning, Jacob found himself standing in the soft light of the kitchen, a steaming cup of coffee cradled in his hands. The aroma wrapped around him like a familiar embrace, grounding him in the moment. Outside, the birds sang their morning songs, a melody that spoke of new beginnings. Daddy, Lily's voice burst into the kitchen like a whirlwind, her hair a tousled halo around her head. She was dressed in her favorite pink pajamas, adorned with images of fairies and sparkles. Can we start our adventure today? The sheer excitement radiating from her made Jacob smile wider than he thought possible. Absolutely. What do you want to do first? He asked, setting his coffee down and kneeling to her level. Can we get ready and go to Mr. Thompson's house? I want to ask him more about the lady. Lily's blue eyes sparkled, and Jacob couldn't help but admire her enthusiasm. It was infectious, a bright flame that lit up even the dullest corners of his mind. "Sure thing. Let's make breakfast first and then we'll head over," he suggested, standing up and ruffling her hair, eliciting a giggle from her. As they prepared breakfast together, they fell into a rhythm, Lily expertly spreading butter on toast while Jacob scrambled eggs with a careful hand. Their morning chatter filled the space, a delightful symphony of laughter and animated discussions about the treasure they had unearthed. "Do you think the lady would want us to find her?" Lily asked, her voice thoughtful as she placed a perfectly crafted piece of toast on a plate. "That's a great question," Jacob replied, gently stirring the eggs. "I think she would. Maybe she wanted to share her story with future adventurers like us." Lily's face lit up as she took a bite of her toast. "Like us being treasure hunters, we can find all the mysteries in the world." Jacob's heart swelled with pride. "Exactly, and who knows what other stories we might uncover along the way." After breakfast, they donned their jackets, Lily's bright pink one full of little patches that she had sewn on, each representing a memory or adventure, and trekked across the grass to Mr. Thompson's workshop. The air was crisp, filled with the promise of a beautiful day, and Jacob felt a bubbling excitement as they approached the old man's home. They knocked on the door, and moments later, Mr. Thompson appeared, his face lighting up at the sight of them. "Well, well, my favorite treasure hunters, what brings you two back so soon?" He looked down at them, his warm eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Mr. Thompson, can we ask you more about the lady who owned the box?" Lily burst out, her eagerness spilling over. "Of course, come on in." He beckoned, stepping aside to let them enter the workshop once again. The space was filled with the smell of wood shavings and oil, a scent that spoke of craftsmanship and stories waiting to be told. Jacob admired the room, absorbing the details. The way the light streamed through the windows, casting patterns on the floor, the shelves lined with an eclectic mix of tools, each with its own purpose and tale. This felt like a sanctuary, a place where creativity thrived. "Sit, sit." Mr. Thompson gestured to a pair of stools at the workbench, pulling out his old reading glasses and settling into a nearby chair. "Now, what do you want to know about that lady?" "Who was she?" Lily asked, her eyes wide and earnest, as Jacob leaned against the workbench, crossing his arms as he listened to the conversation unfold. Mr. Thompson rubbed his chin thoughtfully, his brows furrowing as he searched his memory. "Ah, her name was Evelyn. She lived here many years ago, a lovely woman with a heart full of dreams. She was an artist, a painter to be precise. Her work filled the walls of this town with color and life. But life can be unpredictable." He paused, a shadow crossing his face. "She had a tough time after losing her husband." Jacob felt a stirring in his chest. The pain of loss was a familiar feeling, one that resonated deeply within him. It was a reminder of his own journey, one filled with shadows but also flickers of hope and resilience. "Did she paint pictures of pirates and treasure?" Lily asked, her imagination racing. "Maybe she wanted to find treasure like us." "Perhaps she did," Mr. Thompson chuckled. "Though I believe her treasures were more about moments and memories. She often painted the things she loved, the gardens, the town, the people. She sought to capture the beauty of everyday life." "I want to see her paintings," Lily exclaimed, her voice filled with excitement. "Would you like to?" Mr. Thompson smiled warmly, clearly enjoying her enthusiasm. "I have a few pieces stored in my attic. I can show you if you'd like." "Please, Mr. Thompson." Lily bounced on her stool, her excitement contagious. "All right, let's head up there," he said, rising from his chair with a small grunt and gesturing for them to follow. "Grab the flashlight, Jacob. It might be a bit dim up there." As they made their way up the creaky stairs to the attic, Jacob felt a sense of anticipation build within him. He could sense that this was not just an exploration of art, but a deeper dive into the life of a woman whose spirit had echoed through time, linking them all. The attic was cluttered but organized in its chaos. Old trunks, boxes filled with forgotten memories, and pieces of furniture draped in dust all lay in wait, while the beams of light cast dramatic shadows across the space. Mr. Thompson moved with a practiced ease, rummaging through the boxes with deft hands. "Here we go," he announced, pulling out a large, flat box. He carefully opened it, revealing a collection of stunning paintings, each telling a story of its own. "These are Evelyn's works." Jacob leaned in closer, his breath catching as he studied the vibrant colors and intricate details. Each canvas seemed alive, capturing fleeting moments: a sun-drenched garden, children playing by the river, a couple dancing under the moonlight. It was a glimpse into her heart, her experiences and her dreams. "Wow," Lily gasped, her small hands reaching out as she touched the edge of one painting. "They're beautiful. Isn't it remarkable?" Mr. Thompson nodded, a proud smile on his face. She put her soul into every brush stroke. Each painting tells a piece of her story. "What do you think she would think if she knew we found her box?" Jacob asked, his eyes scanning the canvases. Mr. Thompson paused, contemplating. "I believe she would be thrilled to know that her art and her memories continue to live on, inspiring the next generation of dreamers and adventurers. Art has a wonderful way of connecting us, even across time." "Can we paint, Daddy, just like Evelyn?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with wonder as she looked up at Jacob. "Absolutely," Jacob replied, feeling the warmth of her excitement radiate through him. "Let's do that when we get home." Mr. Thompson nodded approvingly. "It's a fine idea. Art can be a wonderful way to express your feelings and your own adventures." Together, they sifted through Evelyn's paintings, discussing the stories behind each one. Jacob was amazed at how captured everyone was by her spirit, and as he watched Lily point to each piece, her imagination running wild, he felt a flicker of inspiration awaken within him. "Look," Lily exclaimed, her tiny finger pointing at a painting of a garden filled with bright flowers, the colors so vivid they practically leapt off the canvas. "Can I paint flowers like that?" "Of course. The beauty of art is that you can create whatever you envision," Mr. Thompson replied, his voice gentle and encouraging. After what felt like hours, they finally decided to head back downstairs, a treasure trove of stories and inspiration filling their hearts. Jacob felt a weight lift from his chest. This adventure had opened a channel not only to Evelyn's memories, but also to deeper connections within his own life. On the way back to their home, the afternoon sun warming their backs, Lily chatted animatedly about what she wanted to paint. "I want to paint a picture of us finding the box with all the treasures around us, and I'll make sure to include the flowers." "That sounds incredible," Jacob replied, squeezing her hand gently as they walked. "We can even make a little story to go along with it." As they reached home, Jacob felt a sense of purpose surging within him. This wasn't just about uncovering the past anymore. It was about creating a legacy of their own, a story that intertwined with Evelyn's, passing through generations. Later that evening, as they set up their makeshift art studio in the living room, Jacob felt the excitement radiate from Lily, enveloping him. The blank canvas in front of them felt vast and full of potential, an invitation to explore their own creativity. "Okay, we need to start with a sketch," Lily declared, her tiny hands already reaching for the pencils. Jacob grinned, feeling the warmth of this shared moment fill him with hope. "Let's do it together. You draw the flowers and I'll sketch the box." With laughter and joy echoing through their home, they began to paint, colors swirling together and creating vibrant. The evening air was thick with the scent of fresh paint, and the sound of laughter as Jacob and Lily settled into their makeshift art studio. The living room was strewn with brushes, palettes, and a canvas that, until recently, had been a blank slate for their shared adventure. Now it was a tapestry of color and imagination, each stroke infused with the magic of discovery and the essence of a dream shared between father and daughter. As Jacob carefully sketched the contours of the locked box on the canvas, he glanced over at Lily, who was intently focused on her own drawing. She had her tongue poking out slightly, a habit she adopted when concentrating, and her brow furrowed in determination. "I'm going to make the flowers bright yellow like the sun," she declared, her small voice filled with conviction. "That sounds perfect, sweetheart," Jacob encouraged, a smile tugging at his lips. "The sunflowers will brighten the whole picture, just like you brighten my life." He paused, a fleeting thought crossing his mind about how these moments, simple yet profound, were the threads weaving the fabric of their shared history. It was in these instances that Jacob found a sense of purpose, an affirmation that he was doing right by Lily. "What about the treasure?" Lily asked, her voice breaking through his contemplation. She looked up, wide-eyed and eager. "Let's put the locket on the right side, shining in the light," Jacob suggested, pointing to a space on the canvas. "And maybe we can add the journal right next to it. That way, when someone looks at our painting, they'll see the story of how we found it." "Yeah, and we need to add sparkles around it," Lily exclaimed, bouncing slightly on her stool. "Like magic dust." "Magic dust it is." Jacob laughed, the sound warm and genuine. He reached for a small bottle of glitter and poured a little on his palette. "We'll save that for last, let it be the finishing touch." As they worked, the room became a sanctuary of creativity, each brushstroke a reflection of their hearts' journeys. Jacob felt a swell of gratitude for the journey they had taken together since discovering the locked box. It was more than just an object. It had ignited a spark, reviving the sense of adventure both had longed for in their lives. "Daddy," Lily said, breaking the comfortable silence that had settled between them, "do you think Evelyn would like our painting?" Jacob paused, considering her question. "I think she would be honored," he replied thoughtfully. "We're telling her story while creating our own. It's like a bridge between then and now." Lily nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "I wish I could meet her. I want to ask her about her flowers and why she buried the box." The thought resonated with Jacob, an echo of his own desire to connect with the past. "Maybe we can find someone who knew her or find more about her from the town archives," he suggested. "We could write a letter to her, telling her what her treasures mean to us." "Can we? That would be so cool." Lily's enthusiasm was infectious, her imagination igniting a new idea. "We can send it to the stars, like a message in a bottle." "Absolutely, we can do that. It could be a letter to the universe, thanking her for sharing a piece of her life with us," Jacob said, moved by the innocence and beauty of Lily's idea. As they painted and shared their ideas, the hours slipped away unnoticed. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting soft orange and pink hues through the window. Jacob felt a warmth that stretched beyond the physical presence of Lily. It was the warmth of connection, love, and the rebirth of dreams that had once seemed distant. "Okay, I think we're almost finished," Lily declared, her eyes sparkling as she admired their work. "We just need the magic dust." Jacob nodded in agreement. "Let's do it." He reached for the bottle of glitter, his heart swelling with pride as he watched her excitement bubble over. Just as Lily began to sprinkle the glitter, a sudden sound interrupted their moment. The doorbell chimed, slicing through the peaceful atmosphere of their art session. "Who could that be?" Jacob murmured, peering toward the door. "Stay here, I'll check." As he walked to the front door, he felt a mix of curiosity and mild apprehension. He opened the door to find Mr. Thompson standing there, a small box tucked under his arm. His white hair glowed in the twilight, and he wore a warm smile that immediately put Jacob at ease. "Good evening, Jacob. I brought you something," Mr. Thompson said, holding out the small box. "I thought you and Lily might enjoy this." "What is it?" Jacob asked, stepping aside to let the older man enter. Mr. Thompson stepped over the threshold and placed the box gently on the kitchen table. "It's a collection of Evelyn's old paintbrushes and some paint. I thought they might inspire you both in your artistic endeavors." Lily's eyes widened and she rushed over to the table. "Can I see?" she asked eagerly. "Of course, dear," Mr. Thompson replied, chuckling at her excitement. "These brushes have seen many canvases, just like the ones you're creating today." Jacob joined Lily at the table, carefully lifting the lid of the box. Inside lay an assortment of brushes, some with frayed bristles and others still sturdy and vibrant. Alongside them were small tubes of paint, some still half full, offering a kaleidoscope of colors that glimmered in the soft light. "They're beautiful," Lily exclaimed, her fingers dancing over the brushes. "Look, Daddy, can I use the pink one?" "Absolutely, sweetheart. These are for you and your imagination," Jacob said, feeling a sense of awe wash over him. "Evelyn's spirit lives on through her art." Mr. Thompson watched them with a knowing smile. "Art is a way to connect with those who have come before us. They may be gone, but their passion continues to inspire." Jacob felt a surge of gratitude for Mr. Thompson. "Thank you for sharing this with us. It means a lot, more than I can express." Mr. Thompson waved his hand dismissively. "Just keep the spirit of creativity alive. It's important, especially for young ones like Lily. You never know where it may lead." As the evening wore on, Jacob and Lily incorporated Evelyn's brushes into their painting, each stroke imbued with the essence of the artist who had passed them down. They discussed art, dreams, and the mysteries of the universe, their laughter and conversation mingling with the colors on the canvas, creating a symphony of love and hope. Later that night, after Mr. Thompson had left and the painting stood completed, Jacob tucked Lily into bed. As he leaned down to kiss her goodnight, he noticed the way her eyes were still alight with excitement. "Daddy, do you think we can visit Evelyn's garden one day?" she asked sleepily. "I think that would be a wonderful adventure," Jacob replied, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. "But for now, let's dream about all the possibilities." As he turned off the light, leaving the room bathed in soft moonlight, Jacob felt a sense of fulfillment settle within him. The journey they had embarked on with the locked box had opened doors not only to Evelyn's past, but also to their own future. In the silence of the night, as Jacob lay in bed, he felt the weight of the world lift from his shoulders. The connection he had forged with Lily through their shared creativity felt like a lifeline, tethering him to hope and possibility. Tomorrow would bring new adventures, new discoveries, and perhaps more stories waiting to be told. As he closed his eyes, dreams began to form. Visions of gardens bursting with color, paintings that danced with magic, and letters sent to the stars. In that moment, Jacob knew that they were not just unlocking Evelyn's past. They were writing their own story, one of love, adventure, and the unbreakable bond between a father and his daughter.